What is going on, Fightful Faithful, and welcome back here to Fightful Scraps for another interview with myself, Corey Brennan. Today, I am joined by the undisputed cruiserweight champion, Cruiserweight champion in Revolution Pro Wrestling, Will Kaven. How are you doing today, Will?
I'm all right, thank you, mate. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well, and I want to start at the beginning for you, the beginnings of your wrestling career. I just want to ask, during that time of where you were learning how to wrestle, training before you even got to your first match, who was the biggest influence during your training as a pro wrestler?
I think there was a couple answers to that one, because obviously there's loads of people that have helped me along the way, like
Mm,
far too many to mention like all of them
yeah,
overall. But I think during my early years, I started very young. I started when I was like 13, training with RevPro. Um, and during the time I started at the RevPro school, the people that had the most influence on me were a lot of the other more senior trainees at the time. Um, People like Mad Curtis Chapman. He's the guy that taught me to take my first bump. He was like the very first person I ever met in wrestling. Um, Definitely, he probably one of the biggest ones there for sure. Along with Lord Gideon Gray as well, still helps me to this day with literally everything. Always there for support whenever I need it. And also James Castle back in the day. If you can't tell, he was someone I looked up to immensely, especially during my early years. Um, those three guys, those are the main ones I've mentioned having an early influence on my career, and of course people like Andy Quilden, who ran the school. That's my those are my main influences, I think, just starting in.
and fast forwarding to last year at RevPro's 12th anniversary, you won your first championship in RevPro, the undisputed cruiserweight British Championship. As we said, sorry, I'm absolutely just bollocks in the name completely. But what did it mean to win that championship and at one of at the time and still I'd say to this day one of the biggest events in RevPro's history?
I've answered this question so many times now, and the answer never changes every single time. I have to say it was absolutely surreal. One of the most surreal experiences of my entire life. That whole day, not just the match, not just actually winning the championship, the whole day, absolutely burned in my brain forever. Um, to win the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship is like for me a complete validation of everything that I've done so far, everything I've gone through. Um, Starting at RevPro, um, I would always look up to the people that were doing those big York Hall shows. People that would hold this belt. I remember I saw Will Ospreay win the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship at the Clapham Grand when he first won it, I believe. Um, so for me to hold that belt, to hold that legacy, is just completely surreal. That's my favorite word about it, surreal.
Absolutely, and I can imagine. And moving forward, even to just this past weekend, got another title defense under your belt. You faced off against Robbie X and Stephen Wolf in a triple threat
Mm.
match. Two of the other big cruiserweights in the UK in terms of just athleticism and talent. And you came away with the victory at Epic Encounters. And I'm just wondering, what are your feelings following that successful title defense?
Um, that match was very difficult. That match was very hard for me. Um, Definitely, Robbie and Steven, two of the best cruiserweights in the world, undoubtedly. Um, and just to be able to come out of that with the win at the last second, I feel very good about that. But we're just moving on to next. Sorry, mixing my words. We're moving on to the next thing now. Just always onwards and upwards onto the next one. Just looking forward to the future and what I can do with the belt.
And as mentioned, you've been the champion since August. I'm just wondering, what is your overall goal as RevPro Cruiserweight champion? Is it to just elevate the title, or is there something more in there for you?
Elevating the title for sure is one. I think before I won it, there was a lot of different champions in quick succession. People like and great wrestlers as well, like Neon before me, Jordan Breaks, Leon Slater, all fantastic wrestlers. Um, but if you look at the history of the belt, no one was really able to hold it for very long. Certainly not as long as I have so far. So my goal in the beginning was just sort of to have some stability to the division, having me as the figurehead at the top, and having everyone else kind of scramble to see if they can beat me, which I think I've done so far. But there's definitely still a lot more work to be done. Along with elevating the title, I also wanted to use the title to elevate my own position, which I think I've also done. But still, again, more work. There's always more work to be done with it.
And for a lot of your career, you've kind of made RevPro your home, like just in general. Most that's where a lot of your career has been like had. Is there a desire to wrestle outside the UK in the future?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd say that's probably one of my biggest goals for the future is to get outside of the UK. I've never wrestled outside of the UK actually. Um, so getting around to Europe, um, America, Australia, Mexico, Japan, literally anywhere in the world. I think one of my biggest goals in life is to be able to travel the world through pro wrestling. So
Uh,
that's the biggest thing for me, I think.
and you mentioned they're traveling all around the globe and possibly even defending the cruiserweight title. And I have to ask: is there any names that come to mind when I ask you who do you want to defend that championship against next? Who comes to mind?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously, I'm open to all challenges, and I only want to wrestle the best. I want to wrestle the absolute best cruiserweights, best junior heavyweights in the world for the title because I feel like that's what the title is worth. Um, Direct names that come to mind right now, I always think about Leo Rush because he won the British J Cup last year, and there are a few sort of points where it seemed like we were building towards that match, but it hasn't really come to fruition so far. So that for me, that's the one that's been hanging over my head the whole time, the one I'm looking forward to the most. Um, and I think about there's so many other deserving talents in Rev Pro, young talents that are doing really well. People like Leon Cage, who's absolutely incredible. People like Nino Bryant. Both those guys I wrestled just last year for the first time, and they were absolutely incredible. Couldn't beat me just yet, but maybe in the future we'll see how it goes for them. But all those guys, and literally anyone that's good enough to step up to the plate, that's who I want to wrestle.
And one man who you've wrestled a couple of times in tag matches, and you've wrestled him a couple of times in single matches, is current undisputed British heavyweight champion Michael Oku. He's practically the face of Rev Pro. He has been for the last year. And I have to ask, what was your experience wrestling Oku in the past? And is that something that after your cruiserweight title comes to an end, is the British heavyweight title your next goal?
I think I have to put on a little bit of weight for that first. Although I think I'm probably about the same size as Mike, maybe a little bit bigger, so yeah, maybe
Mhm.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But Mike is absolutely incredible. He's undoubtedly, I think, the best wrestler I've ever been in the ring with. I've been fortunate to share the ring with him probably 5 or 6 times, maybe a bit more than that. I'm not sure. Um, he was like he was the guy who had my first few matches that I was really, really proud of. He brought me into Rev Pro. He was the first match I had as a part of the main Rev Pro roster. And just before that, he defended the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship against me at one of the Rev Pro contender shows in Portsmouth. So wrestling Mike, training with Mike, just an absolutely incredible experience. It's taught me so much. It's really helped shape me into the wrestler I am today. And I really do hope that our paths can cross in the ring at some point soon. If that means going for the British Heavyweight Championship, hey, I'm all there for it.
And you mentioned a little bit earlier about how traveling and wrestling all over the world is one of your main goals moving forward. But I'm just wondering, for the remainder of 2025, is there any other major goals that you have in wrestling for the remainder of this year?
For this year, the main one again for me is to get out traveling. Obviously, as we just said, and the other one is just to hold on to the undisputed British Cruiserweight Championship as long as I possibly can. I want to build up a good record of defenses with it. I think I've only had a couple of defenses so far in the long time I've had it, so definitely want to bump that up a little bit. I just want to, I just want to keep getting better as well. That's the
Yeah,
something I always have in mind goal wise. I just want to keep learning. I want to get to the next level. There's a lot of levels to wrestling, and in Rev Pro, I feel like we have one of the most competitive rosters in the world, one of the most talented rosters in the world. And if you want to keep up, you have to keep learning and keep leveling up. So that's my main thing. Anything that can help me get better, that's what I want.
absolutely. And before we do finish up, Will, I want to play a game called Shooting Softly with you, where I name a couple of your peers. You say something short and sweet about them, and we move on to the next one. I'm going to give you five names, so I'm going to go one name at a time. So, are you ready to go with this?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
I'm going to start with, you've mentioned him earlier and you wrestled him in a tag match recently, Leon Cage.
Super talent, phenomenal. It's not fair. It's not fair that he's only 18 years old and so good. I love him. Great guy. Great wrestler.
And next, I will say the heart and soul of RevPro, JJ Gale.
Princess Gale. That's it. That's what you get. Princess Gale.
And I'm going to name your two recent opponents. I'm going to start first with Stephen Wolf.
Stephen Wolf. Great guy. Lovely man. Very, very good wrestler. I've learned a lot from him in the time that he's been here. We've been training together a little bit in Portsmouth while he's been staying. Definitely a fountain of knowledge that's helped me a lot. That's helped me understand the American side of wrestling a lot more. Great guy. Lovely man.
And then, of course, Robbie X.
One of the most athletically gifted wrestlers in the game, one of the fastest, one of the hardest to keep up with. Also, someone that's taught me a lot. He was also one of the more experienced wrestlers that I was wrestling early on in my RevPro run. Again, someone that's really shaped me to be the wrestler I am today.
And one more lad who's unbelievably talented for how young he is, Leon Slayer.
Oh God, he's like one of the best. Like recently, especially, he's like one of the best dudes in the UK, if not the world. Again, so young and so unfair that he's so good. Absolutely smashing it in TNA. Like he will be the best in the world one day. Like he really will.
Absolutely. And Will, you've been absolutely brilliant today. Lovely chatting with you. Do you want to tell people where they can find you on social media and where they can see you next in the ring?
Thank you very much. They can see me on social media at willcaven1313 on Instagram and Twitter. Mostly Instagram because I don't really use Twitter. And the next time you can see me is probably RevPro at the 229. Look out for any of the RevPro dates. I'm always on those. Always hanging
Absolutely.
about.
Go and follow Will, guys. He's had a great reign as the undisputed British Cruiserweight champion, and he's definitely going to be making his way up the card in the near future, in my opinion, at least. But yeah, guys, if you're new to Fightful Scraps, like, subscribe, comment down below who you'd like to see me interview next on the European scene, and I will see you all in the next one.